had belonged to since I was 8 years old. While growing up, all of us commune kids had referred to him as Guru Bob. Not to his face, of course, because that would have been disrespectful. Not that it mattered. I figured he'd always known our silly nickname for him. Guru Bob knew everything. Mom's friend Wanda and her husband, Byron Frawley, had been members of the commune for as long as we'd been living here in the grapevine-studded hills of eastern Sonoma County. Byron was CFO for the commune's winery and a good friend of my father who ran the place. "Wanda's sisters must be devastated," I said. "I suppose they are," Mom said with a sad smile. "According to Byron, Marjorie is having a very hard time, but he has no idea about Elaine. He said he hasn't seen her in over 5 years. Didn't she marry the Duke of Earl or something?" "He's the Earl of Radisson," Mom said. "She met him when she was on some humanitarian mission in Eastern Europe." Right. The 3 beautiful Bradford sisters, Marjorie, Wanda, and Elaine, were the daughters of extremely wealthy parents. They'd grown up in the area and were considered minor celebrities in Dharma. Everyone in town knew little tidbits about their lives, including me. She lives in his castle, and they have some kind of wild menagerie, right? And she wrote books. Mom smiled. "Children's books, all about the llamas she raises on the estate grounds." "Cool," I said, grinning. But then I frowned. "So they had a fight or something?" "Yes. I remember seeing Elaine in town occasionally, even after she married the Earl. Then she simply stopped coming. I have a feeling the sisters had a falling out. When I asked Byron about her, he seemed to shut down, so I didn't probe." "That's not like you," I said, biting back a smile. "I know," she chuckled. "I imagine with a yard full of llamas she's still as eccentric as she ever was. She and Marjorie were always a wacky twosome." I wasn't sure exactly what constituted wacky in Mom's dictionary, since she was a semi-permanent resident of Wacky Town herself. But I did remember the 3 beautiful Bradford sisters. While I was growing up, they were always showing up on the local news, and since they were so rich, the media called them eccentric instead of just plain odd. The sisters had always embraced the most radical causes imaginable. I could still recall seeing them at the grocery store, trying to collect signatures for all sorts of petition drives. They often carried protest signs. We kids always talked about the funniest ones. "Don't use toilet paper," because the companies who made toilet paper also allegedly made bombs, and "bicycle in the buff for peace." Self-explanatory. The oldest sister, Marjorie, became even more heavily involved in radical politics. In the 90s, she traveled with a political action group throughout Eastern Europe and parts of the Middle East and the Asian subcontinent. The group would meet up with the local opposition parties and do what they could to help the local underground overthrow whichever dictator was oppressing his people. Marjorie gained more notoriety when she published a book of her journals and photographs chronicling her more outrageous exploits. That was her first book. Since then, she had become world famous for the many travel memoirs and essays she continued to write. She didn't stop protesting locally either. A few years ago, I'd seen her at the local hardware store thrusting flyers into men's hands as they passed her. A large, colorful banner hanging from a table nearby read, "Wax your chest to stop deforestation." A pink-smocked cosmetician waited patiently at the table with a pot of wax warming over a sterno flame. Shaking off the bizarre memory, I said, "Had Wanda been ill?" "Yes, although some people..."